Hi everyone, Josephine here, and I'm back with a new project for Viva Las Vegas Stamps. Today, a quick art journal spread, and I'm using the new Finnabair art journal. It's a smaller square one with craft colored paper, which I find really exciting. It's something different, not just plain white paper. And I'm using one of the pages that I used to clean up some of my other art. You can see some leftover gel prints there and some just random stamps from one of my other Viva Las Vegas projects that I cleaned up on the page. So I'm using that, and I'm adding a piece of tissue paper on top of that. That's a huge flower from I think it's a Tim Holtz tissue paper roll or something, and I loosely cut out the flower. I don't rip this tissue paper. I find it doesn't rip very well. It only in one direction, but not in the other. So I constantly rip into the image. So I gave up on that part. And I'm just cutting it now. And I find it's okay. The majority, as you can see, of the tissue paper disappears in the background just fine. And the other areas, I just don't worry about it. At the end of the day, it's art, and I can always say this is exactly the effect that I wanted to achieve, so I achieved my goal. And then once all of this is dry, so I'm just using some gel medium to adhere that, and once that is dry, I'm adding just a little bit of water onto my page to spread some gesso over it, because I kind of wanted to blend in everything together, that it is kind of the same, look and feel. So I'm taking just some white gesso, applying it everywhere. I watered it down so it's a bit easier to spread and slightly translucent. And then, as you can see, I first took my brush and then my fingers and then a paper towel to just mess it all around and just have like a slight white fog on top of it. So next up, I'm coloring in the floral image because I wanted it to stand out a bit more, and I'm taking one of the paper artsy paints that were just standing around on my desk. I think this one is Mermaid. I'm listing them all in the description box down below and over on the Viva Las Vegas blog, so you don't need to search for that. And I'm coloring it in. Again, I watered the paint down a bit so it's slightly translucent, and then while it's still wet, I'm dabbing off the paint with a paper towel. This way it's not such a, bulky thing, but it takes, you can see what's below just a little bit still. It doesn't look too like a big color block. I hope that makes sense. And now I'm adding back in the shadows because they disappeared a little bit when I went over it, and I'm just using a watercolor pencil with a water brush. And then I'm also outlining the actual flower again with just a micron pen. All right, next up, I wanted to add a focal point. And I was kind of in a, scrappy mood. So I went through my junk drawers and I found this little envelope and this little tag. And then I found a few other bits and pieces that I'm using here. And I'm just adding a really loose mix of gesso and water on top of both on the tag and the envelope. And then I'm stamping some images. This one is a Tina Walker stamp. And I wanted to mess it up with water and then realized, duh, I'm using archival ink. It's water safe, so I can add medium on top. It's not moving anywhere. And that was kind of my, slap against the forehead moment. But it's fine. So I grabbed some distress oxides afterwards and then did the effect that I actually wanted to go for. It still turned out fine. Again, I planned it that way. But it was one of those moments like when I went with the water over the archival ink. It's like, duh, what am I doing? And then I'm doing the same with the text. Same stamps. One is the Tina Walker, so the one with the chevron look, I think it is. That is a Tina Walker one, and then the dots is just one of the mark making ones that I totally love. I'm adding a random little bee on top of the tag, also Tina Walker stamp, that I really like. And then I'm just adding a few outlines here and there using a gelato. I tried using just random supplies too, because I tend to use always the same supplies. So I wanted to, get a little bit out of my usual again by using like the big tissue paper, by using gelatos again. I haven't done that in a while. And then next up on the tag, I want to stab that gorgeous woman on top of it. And now I wanted to use archival ink because I wanted it to stand out. And I tried finding two colors that are similar to what I already have on the page. That blue turquoise color with the kind of pinkish shade in the background. So I picked the two that I found were the closest to what matches with the background. And then I created some sort of an ombre effect on the stamp by just adding some ink on the bottom of the stamp, some ink on the top of the stamp, and then carefully blend them together because I'm using a pink and a blue, the middle is now purple, which adds, like, I find a real nice effect to it. And then it creates that grungy look of that woman. And then I'm taking a random paper scrap that I had laying around. I think it's a 7 Dot Studio thing that I'm adhering there. And that's what I'm using as a base for the sentiment that, as you might have seen, I cut it apart. Yes, I'm cutting my stems apart sometimes. And then adding that sentiment onto the tag. And then I realized my tag is too long for the envelope. Smart, girl, smart. And so I'm cutting a piece down and adding back my gelato outline, heat setting that real quick, and then it fits much better. So just fixing a couple of things. And then I found a piece of really nice pink thread that I had laying around. I think it was actually from a packaging, I don't know, from a gift packaging or something that I bought, and I keep those type of things. And in this moment I was like, yes, thankfully I do this. And then I'm threading this through the tag, through the envelope. And before I'm adhering the envelope down, I wanted to add some of the same patterns that I used on the tag and the envelope, also in the background, just to have, you know, the same pattern there, repetition, but I'm using the blue and turquoise colors this time to do that. And then I'm adhering my envelope down and have my tag dangling around, essentially. And yeah, that's kind of how I leave my page overall. So now you can put the tag inside the envelope, you can have it dangling outside of it. It works fine either way. And I think it looks great. I mean, the pink is a bit pinker than the background, but because this is the focal point, I'm okay with that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed my quick little art journal page using Viva Las Vegas stamps. Definitely check out the description down below. I've listed everything that I use down there. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. There are new videos coming out all the time. And then I hope you have a great rest of your day. See you soon.